Hi, Year 11. This is our kind of introduction to government and politics in sixth form. I'll just tell you a little bit about the subject because for many of you it'll be completely new. So having an interest in politics and what's happening at the moment, well, it is a popular subject, and it's a very busy place, politics at the moment. There's an awful lot going on. Obviously, you'll be aware of the recent American election, and politics in Britain is certainly far from dull at the moment. So there is an awful lot happening that we can study as part of our year 12 and year 13 A-level course. Some reasons to study government and politics. It's a different subject. It is a little bit different from your standard subjects, and it stands out. It can make you be noticed on those university application forms. We also have a very, very good record of pass rates for government and politics too. And again, as if you've seen the history presentation, we're very proud of our ALP scores, again with government and politics, that remain consistently high and have been for the last 4 years. And what that means is that we really push students to make sure they achieve, in many cases, over and above the grades that they were kind of predicted to in the first instance. So politics is a really good subject and lends itself really well to partner with many other different subjects that you can study at Christleton. So everything from business to law can really add depth and context to a lot of those subjects. Media. Anything to do with media is also very closely linked with politics teaching, obviously. Diplomacy and journalism, these are all just subjects that you could either study at A-level or go on to study later. And politics will give you a really, really good understanding of the systems in which our country operates politically, as well as those in the USA. It's a good subject if you like current affairs and you like to know about what's happening at the moment. So one of the things with politics is that we constantly have to keep our resources up to date. So we subscribe to online resources as well as having kind of standard textbook information. But whatever we use, we have to make sure it's up to date because it's obviously ever changing in terms of, different governments changing, different rules, legislation, leaving the EU for example, is one reason why a lot of our textbooks will need to be changed, and we'll have to look at updating everything again for next year to keep up to date. And as a result of that, it means that when we replan and we reteach, we're always doing something from a new perspective. So that benefits you guys because it means that you're always getting something fresh. It's not something stale that has been taught for many years without any change. Politics just doesn't work like that, and we just can't teach in that way. So we do joint trips, so politics and history trips around the various places in the world. You'll be aware of the America trip, no doubt, the New York and Washington trip that we offer, and we try and offer every other year. Sadly, we had to pause our planning of that at the moment, but we are hoping that we can continue the planning for it in 2021. So we will keep you posted about that one. But we also do run kind of more domestic trips as well. So we go to the Houses of Parliament, we go down to London, and also go to the Supreme Court and have a look round those buildings. We meet with the MP. We can take part in activities while we're down there, have debates, things like that. So that's actually it's a really interesting thing to do, actually, to physically go into the House of Commons and kind of see where it all happens. So we give you the opportunity for those visits too, obviously in a normal year. So fingers crossed we'll be able to offer that next year, all being well. So these are the list of foreign trips that history and politics have arranged over the years, and we hope to be adding to that list if our world returns to more normal. And we also have offered students the opportunity to take part in competitions as well. So you may notice some famous faces or some familiar faces of ex-students on these slides who were lucky enough to win a video competition competition. So they put together a video and sent it off. And as a result of being shortlisted, were invited down to London, and they had a couple of days down there and attended a dinner down there. And then ultimately they were picked out as the winner as well, of which we were very, very proud of them. But it was an amazing experience for them. And again, it's something that really gave them an opportunity to get to grips with current affairs and enjoy experiences that just wouldn't have been possible in many other subjects. So it links very closely to other opportunities that we offer as a department in politics and history, which is the Model United Nations debates that take place between schools. And you can see some images there of those. And we really encourage students to get involved with those. It's very, very good for expanding your political knowledge and really can help gain confidence as well in terms of presenting in very formal environments and in very formal circumstances. So I've already mentioned about current affairs, but obviously if you enjoy a debate, politics might well be the subject for you. The only thing I would say in addition to that is our debates have to be very evidence-based though. So it's not all about opinion. It's not about necessarily having strong political opinions, although they can be really, really valuable to kind of pick apart and analyse. It is about kind of, looking at evidence and thinking about actually, how does this work? Is this really, a positive thing or whatever? So we do have to kind of look at it more in depth than just having political opinions, but it does always add some spice to a debate if people have those views. It does teach, tolerance, the ability to listen, the ability to kind of consider why people have the different views they have, and also think about how you can maybe persuade them to think otherwise. So it's not about shouting people down, it's about making sure that you can debate properly and fully in the right way. And, sometimes winning someone over can be a real achievement, but it's an incredible skill as well to develop. So we obviously have a huge array of news media that give us a constant stream of information about politics and other kind of current affairs in general. And one thing politics will teach you to do is kind of look at that maybe from more than one perspective and to kind of see maybe what's going on behind the scenes a little bit with some of the issues that are reported, how they're reported, comparing different kind of media reports and kind of considering why they're different. So we'll have a little look at that as we study the media as well. So an opportunity to become passionate about political issues and also to develop this healthy questioning and skepticism about our systems and what's happening in our world today as well. So it's a fascinating subject that really does broaden your knowledge about not only our country, but also about America too. Now this is a video here which hopefully I'll be able to also share a link to, but this was the winning video that our students produced and where you saw them getting their award on one of those earlier slides. So hopefully you have the opportunity to actually watch that video as well. So this is the actual course. So in year 12 you will begin by studying UK politics, and you will alongside that be studying UK government. So you'd have two teachers. Each teacher will have you for 5 lessons over the fortnight, and you will study slightly different angles of UK politics. So UK politics itself is all about democracy, as it says, political participation, the parties, the electoral systems, the voting behaviour, why people vote the way they do. And looking at patterns and trends there, and as I mentioned before, the media. But then we also really need to understand how the government works as well. So we will also look at things like the UK Constitution, our rules and laws and Parliament, the Prime Minister and his relationship with his cabinet, with Parliament, with the government, and the relationships between all of these different things, including relationships with the law as well. We also go into political ideologies, which can be fascinating and really add context to your study of political parties and their viewpoints too. So the 4 topics that we study are liberalism, conservatism, socialism and feminism. And you will ultimately have to answer a question on 2 of those. And then finally, we also study US politics as well, and their system of government, which will mostly be studied throughout year 13. And it's a really interesting topic to study, compare with the UK, and look at the differences between our two systems, both democratic systems, but operate in very, very different ways. And you will, as part of the study, be expected to do some comparisons, to compare and contrast between UK and US politics as well. And that can be a really interesting thing to do, to make those direct comparisons. So I already mentioned, it's split into 2 5-hour over the fortnight, so 10 in total. And marks in politics they're not just about learning the content of the actual course itself. It is about being able to weave in current affairs. So we will encourage you to keep, for example, like a journal of things that are happening politically and things like that, because weaving those in to support your arguments in kind of essays and exam answers is viewed very positively by the exam board. So we really, really need to be doing that. It is a mixture of essay-based, and also you look at extracts, so you can almost like a bit of source analysis, a little bit like history, not quite the same, but there's a bit of a balance of skills there. And really, you are looking at developing the skills of argument, of debate, and sometimes that's verbal and sometimes that's written. But making sure that you can support your viewpoint with evidence, really. And there is no right or wrong with politics. It's not black and white. It's very grey. So on that basis, arguing your viewpoint, but in an evidence based way that really adds weight to what you're trying to say, can make a huge difference. And you can't really be wrong, I suppose, in that respect. So our politics team of teachers, who I'm sure you'll be familiar with, again, Mr. Rose will be a fundamental part of sixth form to many of you. You'll all get to know him very well if you don't already. And he also is the subject lead for politics too. Mr. Kostick is also a politics teacher, and as well as Miss Olenek, myself and Miss Allen also support with the teaching of politics too. So you could get any combination of those two teachers for your year 12 and year 13 course. And that's kind of it from me, really. If you do have any questions, then feel free to pop up and see me in history, or drop me an email to ohairj@christletonhigh.co.uk, and I will endeavour to answer those questions for you. Thank you very much for listening.